we prey on your privacy rights. Team Penske does not own ePredators Daily and never will. Welcome to ePredators Daily. I'm your host, Alexa Nikolas. Let's digest. Who is Jay Penske? Jay Penske writes his own articles because he owns every single publication. That's who Jay Penske is. Penske Media is owned by a man who literally got arrested for pissing on a woman's boots. Like, this guy is a rich kid. This guy is honestly. He also tried to literally put his mansion on a church that was literally for the black community. Ben Affleck even had to come out of the woodworks to protest against this. Also, he loves wasting oil. He loves fossil fuels. And his dad is, I think, a Republican who got like crowned or something by Donald Trump. And yeah, Jay was there to watch the whole thing. But anyways, yeah. So Jay Penske, PMC, if you don't know it, Google it. He owns literally every single media outlet there is. You would think he's a Hollywood lover, but really, personally, in my opinion, allegedly, after like looking into him a bunch, it seems like he's just collecting everyone's data. He also owns a data company called Luminate, where Stephen Blackwell works there, and apparently he's also a alleged predator that Jay Penske loves deeply. So anyways, back to what I was saying. Basically, was there any connection between Bryan Freedman and Rolling Stone? Because that's where the suspicion was starting to lead. There had to be something going on because these are public court documents, you guys, and newsworthy. So this is weird. And when we Googled Bryan Freedman Rolling Stone, we came across Jay Penske. And that's because Jay Penske owns Rolling Stone. Apparently in the Business Insider article, Jay Penske loves Rolling Stone, by the way. He is like on crack for Rolling Stone. He was very keen to go around saying he owned Rolling Stone. One current Rolling Stone writer said it gave him clout, quote unquote. The veteran media executive called the purchase a validation of his self-worth. Penske even chose to put his New York, this is where it gets really good. So rewind. Once I found out that Penske Media owned Rolling Stone, I tried to play dumb, because it's easy to play dumb with guys because they think all girls are dumb. So I just asked the question, like, does Penske own Rolling Stone? Even though it's literally a Google search away. And yes, he does. And then I asked, and does Bryan Freedman represent Penske Media? What do you think Ethan Millman said? I'll give like a few seconds for each person to kind of just decide, like, did he say yes? Yes, Penske Media owns Rolling Stone? Did he say no, Penske Media does not own Rolling Stone? Or did he say, I don't know? He said no. He said no and I don't know. So he said no to Penske owning Rolling Stone, but he doesn't know if Bryan Freedman represents Penske Media.
Welcome to my show where we get in a lot of trouble. Let's move on to your representation of Penske Media Corporation.
You would want a lawyer that represents websites or that has represented websites. So you know exactly, so they know exactly what to say that might be of interest to the website to actually remove the content.
So it's interesting that he knew how to say, I don't know about that, but it was a sure no about Penske owning Rolling Stone. Wouldn't you know that fucking Rolling Stone is owned by Penske Media? Especially since, Ethan, I'm going to say this directly to you, sweet boy, that when you were leaving the first Bryan Freedman protest, you told me you were going to the Variety building to write up the rest of it. And that's the PMC building. Okay. That's because Rolling Stone is owned by PMC, sweetie. That's why you were able to get into that building and write the rest of that article that you were almost not able to publish because of Noah. So anyways, he apparently doesn't know where he's working. He doesn't know who's paying his bills, but he's a journalist. He's able to get into everyone else's business, but he has no idea who owns the company he works for. So I just said I just found a Los Angeles Magazine article from this date, January 3rd, 2022, where it has Bryan Freedman representing, Penske, which owns Rolling Stone, Penske Media. He goes, I can honestly say I've never heard about this. First of all, anyone who says I can honestly say or TBH, like to be honest, they're not being honest. Like that makes me feel uncomfortable when someone's like, I can honestly say. It's like, just say it. I don't need you to tell me you're honestly saying it. Like that just feels shadier, to be honest with you. But anyways, he said, I can honestly say I've never heard about this. Can you send me the link? So he needs the proof now. So I send him. Yeah, he did. He didn't even believe me.
He said, send me the link.
He did.
Get the out of here.
He couldn't Google it himself. He literally had me do the emotional labor to send him something he could Google himself. I sent him Freedman's website with Jay Penske on it. And I sent him the Wikipedia of Penske. And this is where the mansplaining comes in. I don't know if Noah trains them so well in it, but it seems like it. He goes, thanks. He doesn't own Rolling Stone.
No, he did not.
Yeah, no, he still didn't Google. It's like, did you not just Google it? Just Google Jay Penske. Does he own Rolling Stone? Do your job, Ethan. Because literally there's tons of articles where it literally says that it validated his self-worth owning Rolling Stone. And and here's the best part. Penske even chose to put his New York office right in the middle of Rolling Stone's editorial department. Who would his office be next to? I don't know. To be honest, I can't honestly say. Obviously Noah Shatman. I'm sorry. Are you not understanding that PMC stands for Penske Media Corporation? And who is the CEO of Penske Media Corporation, Ethan? Jay Penske, bro. And he also has an office right next to your boss, apparently. And then he continues with, I don't know anything about our corporate team's involvement with Freedman or if he still reps Penske today. It's like, I didn't even ask that. I didn't even mention yet that I was suspicious that something weird was happening. I was just asking, like, holy basically, Jay Penske is represented by Bryan Freedman. Like, it's interesting that he went right into involvement. Anyways, it's good to have this, though. You're welcome, Ethan. Ridiculous. I'm sure my editors and I will want to discuss whether we need to note Freedman's own involvement with Penske in our coverage. That's not at all why I mentioned that. Like, you mentioning in the article, the article that's never going to happen, Ethan, because your boss won't let you because we don't know still why. That's hilarious. I gave him a thumbs up to that one. And then I said, PMC is Penske Media Corporations. And then Ethan goes, I know. It's like the most awkward conversation ever. And then he goes, what I'm saying is, I don't know if he's still repping PMC. None of that. Okay, here's the thing. This is what was happening on the other side, Ethan. You get to finally see the other side of the phone. What the are you talking about? That's not, I don't care if he's still repping PMC. All I know is that he did represent Jay Penske, which means he knows Jay Penske, and we got multiple green lights, and then all of a sudden we don't have those green lights anymore. You, Ethan, I'm speaking directly to you because this is awkward, but like it's the only way to do it. You even said you thought so many times that everything should have been in the clear, and then it wasn't. Like you were even, and I know for a fact 'cause we had dinner together, that you were also confused as to what was going on. You knew something was strange. So him repping PMC, it's irrelevant to speak Bryan Freedman language. Irrelevant. It's irrelevant, dude. It doesn't matter. Anyways, moving on. Our corporate team isn't hands-on with our coverage. Okay, if your corporate team isn't hands-on with your coverage, then why the did Jay Penske make sure that his office was on in the editorial department of Rolling Stone? Just asking that question. If he wants nothing to do with that, why did he choose that floor? Is it right next to Noah too? Take a pic. I've never spoke with anyone from corporate. Yeah, because no one even knows who you are. It's like, wow, shocking, man. Like no one at corporate knows you. Yeah, well, you're one out of like, I don't even know how many journalists are at Rolling Stone, but like you're 24 years old or something. Like I'm not shocked that corporate doesn't have any communications with you. You're not blowing my mind there. I don't even know if they're aware we're reporting on this. Why are you over explaining yourself? Because the more you're saying this, the more suspicious I'm getting. Because why are you relax? Because now this conversation's on YouTube, bro. So just relax. Dial it back just a little bit. Dial it back. Breathe. Yeah, your boss sucks. And like there might be corruption at the company you work at. But just breathe. Okay, and stop texting because your mansplaining's turning into guilt. He didn't even know he works at Rolling Stone. I feel like his next text would be like, I don't work at Rolling Stone. Like, wait, what? What? He's like, I work at RS. You're like, that stands for Rolling Stone, Ethan. RS stands for Rolling Stone. I know you have new font now because of Noah, but it's still Rolling Stone, okay? But anyways, as I read this Business Insider article, it looks like Jay is stoked to own Rolling Stone. He fancies himself a man of letters. What does that even mean? That's a quote about Penske. He fancies himself a man. Do you fancy yourself a man of letters, Penske? What the does that even mean, bro? Maybe you should take Noah's job. Like, that's fucking sounds good to me. Sounds like you should be working at Rolling Stone. Meanwhile, I'm starting to begin to protest at a lot of other different places. And that's when Janette McCurdy's book comes out. Blows my mind that Dan Schneider is finally being called out by an other Nick star for being a creep. So I decided to protest Nickelodeon. And guess who guess what groupie came along? Guess with his little notepad. Not, sorry, I can't. Ethan came to Nickelodeon in a COVID mask. You can't really recognize him, but he was there in the COVID mask. That ended up being a pretty big protest. It went, I guess I could say it went viral. Wait. Hold on. Rewind. So while I'm getting suspicious about Bryan Freedman's involvement in the Rolling Stone article, Variety starts reaching out to me. PMC's other head starts like coming through my door, asking me about ePredators. And I do this long interview with them. She wants to come to Sony. I'm like, great. You're more than welcome to come. Now we have multiple PMC companies at these protests. I have Billboard. I have Variety. I got Variety. I got Billboard. I got Rolling Stone. I almost got the whole. Well, no, he owns a lot, but I got a lot of PMC trading cards there, if you know what I mean. I got almost the whole staff. So this is where it gets more awkward than Ethan's awkward text messages about his job. So Variety starts poking around. Really nice female journalist. Actually liked her a lot. Very kind. She ends up wanting to come to the Sony protest. Met her in person. She came through for like 5 seconds, was like, hey boys, and then was like out. It was awesome. She literally came through, left, and it felt like she was going to end up doing an article. Sure enough, she's one of the first people to reach out to me saying she got the green light for an ePredators article on Variety. I was like, yes, finally all my hard work is paying off. Like, this is amazing. She's asking for every single name. She asked for every single company that I had protested against. And so I was like, this is great. Obviously, I put Bryan Freedman in there once again. I message Ethan, letting him know, hey, Variety is most likely now going to be doing this. Fast forward, Variety article comes out. I literally just read the article to get to the point where they're mentioning the different protests. And guess whose name is missing? Drum roll. It's a drum roll somewhere in this take. Bryan Freedman. It says every other protest. She wasn't even at any of the protests. She put every protest but Bryan Freedman. Oh yeah, and dipshit, I think, and which shocking. It's like his other clients. But Bryan Freedman wasn't in the article. So then Ethan's like, you see, Variety didn't mention Bryan Freedman. So like, we're most like, it's like, okay, you guys are both PMC. You guys are both Jay Penske. Like now I'm just starting to see one unit. I don't even see Variety and Rolling Stone. I just see Team Penske. They should rebrand themselves and just call the corporation Team. It's getting me excited. Team Penske. Of course, Ethan calls me and he's embarrassed by his own company. Like, I just have to say, like, this journalist is embarrassed. Like, he wasn't like, yeah, like feeling all badass. He was embarrassed. And he was like, Alexa, we're coming out with the article, but we just cannot mention Bryan Freedman's name. And I'm like, why? It makes no sense. So anyways, Variety, Rolling Stone, no Bryan Freedman. Fast forward, I obviously have to ask Variety, the nice, sweet journalist at Variety, if she originally had Bryan Freedman's name in her article before it got published. I just had to know. I need to sleep at night. You know what I mean? So I asked her, I said, can you let me know if Bryan Freedman's name was in your article before it got published? And you know what she said? Another drum roll. I did have them all listed in my original draft. So that must have happened down the line with editing and legal, since they were trying to push the story through quickly. I'm starting to feel things are getting a little weird over there. And then she goes, I can ask my editors for further clarification as well. And you know what? I never heard from her again. She also went missing along with Dan Schneider, Ethan Millman, Marlo the dog, Noah Chapman, Jason, Michael Milosh, Diplo, all of these. Sorry, she's actually not but you get the point. They all go missing when you start to like poke around over there. It wasn't even a Bryan Freedman story. It was just him being mentioned in the protests. Now, these articles come out. I've almost given up on the Bryan Freedman thing. It's like, okay, I'm going to still keep doing my activism. Who cares at this point? They're all annoying me, actually. They're driving me crazy. So leave it behind, Alexa. A couple months later, I get a message from LA Mag. LA Mag. Like, I almost forgot about LA Mag. I forgot they were even there, who they were, what happened. I forgot all about Abigail. She's like, we're talking to Red Light for final comments. Like, we're doing our final comments. What's your final comment? You know how the whole thing goes. And I'm like, oh yeah, LA Mag. And I'm like, okay. So I ask her, are you going to be mentioning all of the protests? Because now I'm getting so like, I'm blown away. But remember, LA Mag is not owned by PMC. So I asked her and she goes, yeah. Like, so like awkwardly. She's like, yeah, I mean, I was there. I was like, yeah, I know you were there, but are you for sure? Because I had to know, like, are you for sure going to mention this fool, basically? And she's like, yes, I was there, so I'm going to include him in the story. And I said, are you reaching out for comment? And she was like, I already reached out for comment. Ethan, for months, they couldn't even reach out to Bryan Freedman for comment. But I don't even know if I believe that. But apparently they were afraid. They say they were afraid to reach out for comment because what Jason said, wait. Jason said that basically the minute they reach out to Bryan Freedman for comment, his retort begins. It's like, okay. Whoa! What about his public court documents, bro, that he is probably like super embarrassed about? Like, I don't think he wants any attention to this. I doubt he's gonna like have a retort. There is no retort. He has nothing to say. He also went missing. That's right. That's the other person I forgot who went missing. Bryan Freedman. He's missing too. No comment. So they all just flee. So anyways, apparently they were afraid to ask Bryan Freedman for comment. So it never happened. But LA Mag did. LA Mag, man. LA Mag came in strong. I always thought of LA Mag as like food review, to be quite honest with you. But they were more hard-hitting than Rolling Stone, Variety, all of these other even Vanity Fair. Vanity Fair sucks. We all know that for sure now with that whole Colleen thing. But like way more hard-hitting. So I tell Ethan, dude, LA Mag is putting Bryan Freedman in the article. And he's like, I'm going to tell Jason. Stupid. You're like, okay. You do that. Okay, you go tell Jason that LA Mag is more hard-hitting than he is, okay? So around November, I get into contact once again with a wonderful journalist at Business Insider who did the Dan Schneider article that I thought was very well done. And I tell her about all the protests I've been doing. And she's like, Bryan Freedman, that lawyer. And I'm like, yeah. And I tell her, and the court documents, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, what are you talking about? This hasn't been published. I was like, no, LA Mag. I was like stoked because LA Mag did put a little link to his Berkeley embarrassing news clippings from the 80s. And so I told her that and she was like, but no one else has made like an actual story about it. And I'm like, no. Like, okay, I'm going to hit up my editor and we'll see if a story's going to happen. TBH, I know for a fact it's BS. Sexist leaked messages from Falling Stone's Marlo the dog by Eagle Spillman. I'm down.